Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Our Giant Leap podcast. Today, we would like to pay tribute to inspiring women who led the path in the space sector. It is our duty to keep on celebrating the women paving the path forward, and by doing so, to keep their stars shining. Their names are Johnson, Jackson, Vaughan, Hamilton, Tereshkova, Haigneré, Koch, and Meir. They are path makers, groundbreakers, and a great source of inspiration for all of us. With this episode, we invite you to travel with us back in time from the 1930s until today. First, we'll present the hidden figures of the space race: Katherine Johnson, Margaret Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan, who were calculators working at NASA. Not only were they female scientists, but also African American women in a context of racial segregation. As true role models, they had a brilliant career in a society and work environment rather unfriendly to non-white male in intellectual positions. However, as you could have guessed, they were hidden figures remaining in the shadows of their white male co-workers. Today, we put them back in the spotlight, where they belong. It is interesting to know that their computing positions were first opened to white women in 1935 and then to black women only from 1943. The lack of workforce during World War II helped, of course. In the end, these inspiring women who suffered the double pain of racism and sexism received the USA's highest civilian honor on September 18, 2024, for their significant contribution in space. As a matter of fact, they largely helped send the first American male astronauts into orbit. After sending the first men into space, it is time to remember the female presence up there. 1963 marked a big step for women in the aerospace sector. This year, Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman to go to space. Even though this was remarkable, it had not really the expected impact on equality, diversity, and female inclusion. In spite of the fact that she was willing to go on another mission, the Soviet Organization of Women Cosmonauts was dissolved right after her flight. It's only 19 years after that the second woman cosmonaut, Svetlana Savitskaya, traveled to space. But equality between men and women in the galaxy was still not achieved, since at her arrival at the space station, the commander greeted her with a kitchen apron and told her to get to work. It was obviously a joke, but it still revealed the problematic society they faced, and we still face today. Because space is not only about astronauts, we are now presenting Margaret Hamilton, a computer scientist who led the software engineering division of the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory. NASA contracted them in 1961 to help with the Apollo program's guidance system. She had an important role in developing the flight software of NASA's Apollo missions. Thanks to her work, humans could land safely on the moon in 1969. Margaret Hamilton was also responsible for popularizing the concept of software engineering. Indeed, she left a famous saying, "Looking back, we were the luckiest people in the world. There was no choice but to be pioneers." So, men could walk on the moon. That was a big step for humanity. But what about female astronauts? Well, 1978 was also a big step for women in space. NASA finally opened the astronaut training centers to women. As you may know, astronauts were then required to have a degree in engineering or to be military pilots, two fields exclusively reserved for men. Previously, we talked about the presence of Soviet and American women astronauts in space. Let's now turn to Europe. The first European female astronaut was Claudie Haigneré, a French doctor. She got her medical degree in biology, sports medicine, aviation and space medicine, and rheumatology. She even received a doctorate in neuroscience in 1992. But it was not until 1996 that she participated in her first mission in space. Since then, another European astronaut, Samantha Cristoforetti, took command of the ISS in 2022. Even if we are still raising awareness about the need for women in STEM, we had to wait until October 2019 to see two women astronauts, Christina Koch and Jessica Meir, in the first all-female spacewalk. 56 long years after the first woman in space. Even though it was symbolic, we need to acknowledge the fact that there are no differences between women and men astronauts and that they are both equally competent. The Space Chronicle is dedicated to all women working and studying in the space sector. The Our Giant Leap podcast is here to get you inspired and not giving up on your dreams. It is brought to you by the Diversity and Gender Equality Project Group of the Space Generation Advisory Council. You can interact directly with us on the Diversity and Gender Equality Project Group social media and leave feedback or advice from your side. Thanks for listening. I'm your host Laura, signing off.